My fellow Americans, my fellow Floridians, this is important, so please hear me out. The majority of us believe that there's something nefarious going on in our country, and it has to do with our existing government and actually our overall government. And there's two ways that we can fix this. Number one is a way that I wouldn't want to talk about on here. That would be around the proverbial campfire. Number two is voting. So let's talk about voting. All right, let's make some things need to be perfectly clear for everybody to understand. If you want to fix this country, if you want to change the direction it's going in, which has been going this direction for many years, number one, you have to elect a president who does not follow along with the system, is not part of the cabal. Now, millions of you believe that that's Trump, and that's perfectly fine. I think Trump did a great job when he was there the first 4 years, and I think he would do a very good job in another 4 years because he's seen the corruption that goes on there. I know there's going to be a bunch of Democrats that are going to freak out and say, oh my God, you're a Trump lover. Listen, Trump was an outsider. He didn't want to be a part of anything, but he knew to win he had to belong to a party. Now imagine if he had joined the Democratic Party instead of the Republican to be the nominee for president. You guys would have been fighting for him right now instead of fighting against him. So, anyways, the next step. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Good candidate. I like a lot of the things that he says. Vivek Ramaswamy, he's an excellent candidate in a lot of ways. He is not part of the cabal of what we've seen for years that you see with Nikki Haley, and you see with Tim Scott, and you see with Ron DeSantis, and any of the other longtime career politicians. And that, my friends, is our biggest problem. Number one, career politicians. And number two, lobbyists and special interest groups. It's been said to us millions of times that those people buy votes, and they pay these Congress people and senators to vote the way they want them to vote. Not what you and I, regular Americans, I'm on my way to work. I work construction. But not the way that you and I would want them to do things. They do things in the sense of who pays them the most money. And that's not how America is supposed to be. So, to change all of this, people need to really seriously consider the idea that we drop all parties, get rid of the Democrat and the Republican Party, because they are the problem. If you don't see that they're the problem, think about the last 20, 30 years that they've been in office controlling everything, and what's happened? Everything gets kicked down the road. Nothing actually gets done. Since Clinton, we've talked about immigration reform. We've talked about the infrastructure. We've talked about medical for everybody. But nothing's been done because they fight each other, and therefore they block each other out from getting anything done. So my proposal to everyone is to start looking for independence. Start looking for people that are constitutionalists, that believe that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is the fundamental idea of this country. Not socialism, not communism, not changing everything, but fixing our government. And to do that, we need to stop putting in politicians. We need to stop the career stuff. We need term limits. We need the things that will straighten this government out. Now, on that point, it's not just the politicians, but it's those lifelong government people that look at somebody coming in Congress or the Senate or even president and say, well, you're only here for a short time, so I'm going to continue doing what I want done. That's another one of our biggest problems, is those people that have been in government and really in a lot of respects, control everything. Whether it's the Department of Justice or the CIA, FBI, IRS, any of those agencies. Those agencies and the people that are in those agencies have been there a lifetime and do what they think is best without taking into advice or even listening to if a congressperson, a senator, or a president says they want something different. Now, we need to change that. If you want a major change in this country, this is how you're going to do it. You're not going to get it by running to the polls and saying, "Oh, I'm going to vote all blue," or "I'm going to vote all red," because you're just prolonging our problem. You're just keeping us in the same perpetual spin where nothing gets done. Now, another thing, get involved in the voting. Get involved in being a poll watcher, in ensuring that the votes are counted correctly. Get out there and start knocking on doors for representatives that you think, independents that you think carry the message that you want this country to have. Everybody I've ever talked to has said they want this country to follow the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence. Those are our foundational documents. They lay out the basics of everything. Now, certainly there's amendments and things that have been put in, but those all have to go through Congress, go through the Senate, and be approved. That's part of our system. If we see that the system has worked in many ways, certainly we've had our ups and downs, but the biggest problem now is the system no longer works for the people because of who we're putting in office. It's that simple. It's not that the system doesn't work. It's the system doesn't work because we're putting in office either a Republican or a Democrat. This two-party system is our problem. And to fix it, we need to stop voting two-party. Do your research in your area. There are independents and independent parties, minor parties, whatever you want to call them, out there that their candidates are trying to get their message out, and they need you to find them, to help them get that message out so that they can have a chance against this conglomeration of Republican or Democrat and the millions and millions of dollars that they pour into these campaigns. Because that's another thing that we need to change. A major campaign reform would be something. Now, my name is Edward A. Gray. I ran in 2022 and I'm running again in 2024. I would like to be the United States Senator to represent Florida, because I think my voice would be better than a Republican or Democrat, because I would stand for what's good for the people. I'm not a politician. If anything, I like the definition of statesman. I will be a statesman. I don't go for the next election. I go for what the people want done. Not looking for a career. I'm looking to do my civic duty and ensure that this country gets back on the right track. So I ask you, I beg of you, I plead with you, pay attention to other candidates. Stop looking at Republican and Democrat. Look for independents and help them get on board. This is how we can make a major fundamental change in government. If we stop electing Republicans and Democrats and start putting in independents, we could change this whole country and get it back on track. I thank you for listening to my rambling, and I hope you understand what I'm saying. I would be happy to take any comments or any suggestions that you might want to send me. My email is edward4senate@yahoo.com, or my website is edwardagray.com. You can leave me comments there. Let's work together. Let's change the problems that we have in this country by changing who we put in office. Much love.